with our guest here. So that there's a first for everything. I'm pretty thrilled about that. And today we have the super talented Frank Hatsis from Rope Dart Academy. Frank, thank you for spending time with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I know this was something, a while in the making, and it's the fact that it's happening right now just makes me so happy, and I'm pumped for this conversation.
I am too, my friend. So let's do the. It can't be the Kryptonian origin story since you're a Doctor Strange fan. What took you up the mountain to meet the Mystic? Where did your martial slash rope dart journey? Where and movement journey? Because what you're doing is a lot of movement practice as well. So where did your journey start, my friend?
I guess my journey started with a really supportive mom who
Oh,
encouraged movement with, me and my brothers. So I think, I always shout out to mom,
bless your
best
mom.
ever. So, and yeah, so we I was kind of doing martial arts anyway with my brothers. We got influenced by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which,
Yes.
for the 80s makes a lot of sense. That was our first introduction. So, when it just got too much where I have a twin brother and we were just doing it on each other, my mother was finally like, okay, it's time to put you in an official school. So we
Yeah.
enrolled in Shin's Taekwondo, which is in
Mhm.
Stewart Manor, Long Island, and it was Grandmaster Hyunak Shin. It was a great experience. We both got to. This is really stupid to say, but we both got to third degree brown belt, meaning that next belt would be black, and we quit.
Oh
So
man.
it's like it's
Oh,
definitely. I actually years ago I thought about going back to training in Taekwondo just to get
sure.
my black belt in it, but I mean, there's no way. I don't have that kind of time anymore. Yeah, so martial arts training, I transitioned from Taekwondo to Kung Fu, and that's really where my martial arts life be. Like I did Taekwondo and it was cool, but I became a martial artist when I started training in Kung Fu. I think that's how I feel for myself. And years later, I'd go on to be an instructor in the school, the Kung Fu school that I was a student in. And that's where I found the rope dart. My Sifu, I'd never seen it before after all that time. And my Sifu was playing with it one evening and I fell in love. And I haven't stopped using it since, really. And I was 20 years ago.
That's amazing. What any particular style of kung fu? Was it just
Yeah, no, it was Choi Lei Foot Kung Fu. And earlier
oh,
you were talking about Choi Ga or Choi Gar. And
yeah.
yeah, so that's part of the style that I took because
Mhm.
Choi Lei Foot is a mix of Choi Ga, Lao Ga, and Foot Ga, and Foot Ga being, I think,
Buddha hand.
Buddha style,
Yeah,
something,
yeah, yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we were lucky enough to have a brilliant interview with Sifu Brian Cuttle, who studied directly with the son of and him as well, Doc Fei Wong.
Oh, sure. Doc Fei
Yeah,
Wong.
yeah, out in California. And I just, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna have to send you a picture of it. But he just put out a book on Choi Lee foot kicking and sweeping, and that's well worth your time if you get
Oh,
a.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So where did you? I know there's Muay Thai in this journey.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. So, I found the rope dart. I, just had like, I guess, as it happens in life, a falling out with my Sifu. No bad
Sure,
blood anymore on my part. I wish him the best. I actually, truthfully and from my heart, I really do. Because he gave me the rope dart. I get like how
sure,
I love this guy. Really. And
sure.
yeah, when I think back, I wouldn't. I owe him everything. My life is the rope dart, so I own my life in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? Um, but so we had, we went our own separate ways, and then I found a Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing, a little Brazilian Jiu Jitsu school that was local, and started training in Muay Thai. And after a few years of very hard training, I love training Muay Thai. It's my favorite way to exercise. I think to this day, it's the most, for me personally, it's the most effective fighting style I've ever seen personally. And after a few years of training, I fought. I did a couple of amateur fights, And the first time I fought was cool because I wasn't supposed to fight. Somebody else was. There was a guy who was one of my training partners. He was fighting at 155. That's my fight weight. And he backed out of the fight about a week prior to it. So, the buzz was going around the gym about it. And I went up to my coach and said, basically put me in, coach, like
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I had my first I lost. And it was my first Muay Thai fight. And I went all 3 rounds. Let me tell you, for everybody out there that's interested in competing in martial arts, I lost that fight, but I got so much respect for it because I went in there and I fought my heart out. And I got beat up, man. I got beat up, kicked and punched and everything. I fought, I didn't suck, but I got beat up. And I got way more respect for that loss than I ever got for a win fighting. So I think that's important for
Yeah.
folks to know.
I mean, my origin martial art, if you will, was just high school wrestling. And, it was one, I was maybe in some of the best shape of my life, but two, I didn't have any experience. I was coming into the field late. And so I learned to lose quite a bit, but I kept going back and back and back. And I think sometimes in the worlds of martial arts that competition it gets looked down upon. And there's so much, not only do you learn about your art, but yourself for stepping in there.
Well, somebody has to explain to me what the negative side of competing is, because I don't
Sure.
know. Like I don't, and there might be an answer to that. If you're going to say, well, you might get hurt, it's like, but like I'm willing to take that risk. So it's like that's not on you, and you can compete in martial arts, and so you could do push hands, you could do chi sao,
Mhm.
light contact sparring. There's so many different ways to quote fight in martial arts, including shuai jiao wrestling.
Sure.
You had Lindsay on the shuai jiao champ, or you know what I mean. So
She's kicking ass.
yeah,
Loved having
she's
her on.
awesome, man. Love Lindsay. Shout out to Lindsay and Wudao Kung Fu. Uh, yeah, so there's just so many different ways to fight in martial arts. That's actually a pet peeve of mine. If somebody says kung fu doesn't work, it's like, well, that's so not true because you're applying different rules here now to martial arts. So say for instance in wrestling, if I if you and I were going to have a wrestling match, there's rules, right? Okay. And if I walked on the mat and I just went boom and I just knocked you out, I could say wrestling doesn't work, right?
That's
So,
exactly right.
right. Okay. So then why do people judge Kung Fu and, oh, trapping doesn't work? Well, when you're playing trapping, like when you're playing wrestling, yes, it does work. And you can figure those rules and you can take, because there's definitely tripping and takedowns in trapping. Sure.
Sure.
And you just decide those. It's like, why is light contact sparring in a Muay Thai gym? That's fine. But if you do light contact sparring or a certain style of sparring in Kung Fu, it's not effective. It doesn't make sense to me. Or somebody needs to explain that position a little bit better because right now I'm lost on that. I don't get it.
It's something that we try to do in our show. There's some weird narratives that have been brought over that are either one, 200 or 300 year old narratives that just don't make any sense,
Right.
or two, how training started in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Some of that really worked effectively, and some of it didn't. And just like we're trying to, I don't know, keep a classical style alive, you can update how you look at it, the lens that you look at it, because this isn't ancient China, as we know. I think a lot of people need to realize, and it's hard for some people to realize that they're also not Chinese. And so I do try to learn about the culture as much as possible and the language, and it does help. But everything has to be put into context.
Yeah.
So context maybe is the big word that we're looking for.
It's the $1 million word. And you know what? It would help folks to better understand what's going on when it comes to martial arts. It's not this. I don't know. Folks get a little too definitive, and at Dart House we believe that only Siths believe in absolutes. So we try to stay somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We try to stay in the middle of that line as close as we can because everyone is going to have their own experiences and perspectives, and it's better to just it's certainly better to not argue over it, and it's better to just
100%.
learn from others when it comes to these things. And yeah, there's certain things in a certain martial art that you might not be able to apply, but somebody else will. And, as the story goes.
Very, very well said, my friend. Very
Thank you.
well said. So, are you still training your Muay Thai?
I go to the gym and I hit the bag.
There you go.
I'll do not an exact replica of how we used to train, because we used to train like ridiculous, especially
Hmm.
when you're in fight camps. It's pretty intense. And it's, I don't train like that anymore because I just don't have that kind of a time. Or the culture of a gym or a school or whatever is so important, and the
Yeah.
culture, the culture of the one I came from just fit me like absolutely perfectly. So it's hard for me. I know I'm never gonna get that culture again. And it's silly to try to recreate it in somebody else's gym. So for me, I'm just kind of better off go into my, where I exercise has a heavy bag, a little boxing area, a couple of different styles of bags. And I do, a Thai boxing workout, for the best, for all intent and purpose, for what is available, you know.
So the rope dart is now your all-encompassing life, global
Now for the past
fear.
20 years, oh yeah, yeah. The rope dart is my life. And I'm really happy to say that. Um,
Tell
I,
us what you do over there. Tell us what you do over there, because there's folks out there that don't know who Rope Dart Academy is. You do some special things. Tell us about
thank
the
you.
academy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's our mission is to teach excellent rope dart. The most comprehensive curriculum, the best instruction, using in our opinion, the best gear, so that folks can learn the rope dart and get the same great feeling that we all. And there's a lot of people that rope dart, and everybody gets a wonderful feeling when they engage in it. It's a great community. It's at the end of the day, seriously, like without even trying, I don't want to oversell it. It's just something to do. If you enjoy not even martial arts, but if you enjoy martial arts, you love the rope dart. But if you just enjoy recreation, if you are the kind of person that would go out and play like a pickup game of tennis with somebody, or go skateboarding or rollerblading or throw a frisbee, like just think any recreational activity, rope dart fits into that category absolutely seamlessly. So, you know, and while it's what's the saying? It's difficult to learn but easy to do. So that's why you've heard that before, and
I
that's
sure have.
you can apply that to a lot of things. Like a chain whip, if you want to just compare it or contrast it to a weapon. It's difficult to learn but easy to do. But I think that the way we break the curriculum and the instruction down makes it the easiest it's going to be. I've never seen an easier way, and I'm open to it. I'm like, if somebody's like, "Hey, man, I cracked the code. This is the best way to show somebody how to learn the rope dart," I would adopt that because I want to teach folks the rope dart. Um, but I think that I have a lot of experience. All over across the globe, period, all of the United States, and I think that our method of teaching uh, is excellent. And that's what we're going for.
So I know you have books out, and then you also do lessons online. Do you do like group lessons or like canned lessons, and then you can do private lessons, or how does
So
the online academy work?
So we actually have a great online library of training courses, starting from beginner all the way to like super advanced. We even have a more wushu kung fu style. Uh, I mean, I guess it really all is really, but this was it, we have my old DVD as a downloadable feature in our online training courses on the website. So we have that. I do see private students in real life, around New York City. We do workshops in New York City. Have up to, depending on the size of the space we're renting, anywhere from 10 to 20 students. I travel, so I'll be down at the ICMAC, which is the International Chinese Martial Arts Championships, this coming weekend. It's the last weekend in June 2025, and I'll be. By the way, great event, and I'll be teaching rope dart there. If you go to ICMAC, or I believe it's kungfuchampionships.com, you can check out the seminar page and see when I'm teaching. I'll be judging there as well as doing the master's demo in the evening. So that's a great event. If you're in the Orlando, Florida area, or even near, and if you want to learn the rope dart and you live in Florida, make the drive, come to ICMAC, come see me. I will teach you the rope dart, no problem.
Awesome. Awesome. There you go, folks. You got a reason. And we're doing this live now, but this will be dropped live. This will be dropped tomorrow, so it won't be live, but this episode will be dropped tomorrow. So the wushu stuff I wanted to ask you about. So your wushu curriculum, it would be more for like competition. Would that, within the Chinese kind of wushu competition, is that what that is,
Yeah.
Frank?
So the actually Wushu Rope Dart is one of the books I wrote, and it's a form, a routine, if you will,
Sure.
that was made by a man named Li Xingdang that came out of the Beijing Physical Culture Institute in Beijing, China, back in the 80s. Now, I was I was educated on this form via Sifu Kenny Perez, which I'm sure you and a lot of
Yeah.
heard of. Great martial artist and guy. And one of the guys that really brought rope dart from China to America in a lot of ways. He's very influential in that space. So that book has a routine that was used for Wushu Taolu competition in Beijing, China in the 80s. So I would say, yeah, if there was anything out there that was as close to that lineage, that genesis, it would be the routine that's in Wushu Rope Dart, the book. And there's others as well. Like, you don't have to buy my book; I don't care. But it does come from a source, and it is researched to the best of the ability. But rope dart is an extremely elusive thing. Although I do know somebody is I don't want to. There's a really awesome thing that's coming out. I don't want to say what it is and who's doing it. It's not me, but there's a really awesome thing coming out in the rope dart that I think is going to be widely received and wonderfully distributed throughout. And it has to do with the rope dart. And I'm very excited about it. And I want to talk about it and I can't.
Well, you got to have them on your show, and then you guys can talk about it. Hopefully, would they be on your show?
Ooh, that's it.
Yeah, there you go, bro.
Oh,
hey, there you go, brother.
Thank you.
Podcasters, two podcasting brains together.
Dude,
right?
I love it. That was clutch. That is 100% going to happen now. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. So let's get back to rope darting. You make your own beautiful rope darts. Tell the audience, do you have one with you? Do you have one you could pick up and dangle?
I mean, I have them everywhere except like right here, which is odd because normally a rope dart was in my grasp.
No problem.
I can get up. I mean, I have plenty.
Well, Frank, go grab one. Go grab one. I'll talk to the audience. I'll talk to the audience. All right, there he goes, folks. Frank Hatzis, the Papa Hat. We're going to talk to Frank about that too, because Frank is a first-time dad. So that's going to be a priority in his life as well. But Frank has been doing rope dart, like he said, for 20 years. And he is an awesome guest. And he has an awesome product. And oh my gosh, you bought a bunch of them.
Well, I have a bunch.
I bet you do.
These are the closest. Well, we could start with the traditional conical, which is one of my favorite rope darts. It's what I learned on. Let me just get the flag off.
This is our first show and tell. I love it.
Yeah. So right here, this is a conical version of a rope dart. It's definitely, if you're looking at like the standard of wushu style rope dart, most folks would use a conical. If it's wushu style and it's not a conical, it's probably a meteor hammer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different styles of meteor hammer.
Ooh.
Yeah. This one is very, very old. It's got to be about, and even this rope dart have to be about 18, 19 years old. Very, very old for me.
Do you collect any antique rope dart heads?
Dart heads?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll take any dart head. Oh yeah. Oh.
No, but I mean, do you have some antique ones that like meteor hammer heads? Not really.
No, this is my only meteor hammer head, pretty much. Yeah, I don't have too many of the antiques. This is a Dragon's Tooth dart. This was one that
I love those.
We practiced engraving first, so you can see there's a whole bunch of different markings on it
Uh-huh.
because you gotta play around with it. And then the last thing we have are the darts that we make, although these are very, very old and beat up, and we don't even really make this style anymore. But this is a silk dart. It's got a
Yes.
beanbag in it. Yeah, and
Yes. I love those. I just
yeah,
love those.
yeah, they feel really good. They're great for beginners. You know, you do all the things that you do with a rope dart with them, and the leash feels, what you call the rope, but the leash feels amazing. And then the last I'll show you, because it's, I don't want to do this too long, is our Cobra dart, which if you can tell the difference in the size of the head,
Yeah,
one is
totally.
bigger
Totally.
than the other. This has BBs, pardon me, this has copper BBs in it, and this has beans. So this one is a lot better for beginners, although a beginner can use one of these. It just gives a little bit more. We call it a Cobra kiss if you hit yourself. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
these feel great, and this is like as close to a traditional feeling metal conical dragon's tooth style rope dart I think as you're going to get for sure.
What? So what how did you get that idea? How did you come up with that?
The idea for the
The
dragon's tooth or the silk
the
dart?
silk darts.
Well, so silk darts were, I wasn't the first person to make a silk dart. There were shops on Etsy, and we're going back a long time ago. There were shops on Etsy that made not what we made. It's like not even close, really. But there were folks making rope darts out of fabric. Tom Fazio is somebody that's an example. But again, his is like our darts are way different from each other. It's not even the same thing, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
But the idea came in the sense that really I was trying to teach the rope dart to everyone, and I was pushing a traditional metal dart because that's how I learned, and that's how I thought was the best way for folks to learn. I still actually feel that way, but that's for me. Others might not. It's not everybody wants the rope dart as a martial arts weapon. Some folks want to use it, like you said earlier, for dancing or flowing or recreation. So I I didn't think any of the fabric darts on the market were any good. Honestly, I didn't think they were. No disrespect meant, but I used all the experience I've had rope darting to create what I think is a great feeling rope dart. I mean, uh, that's yeah. I think it feels good.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
All
So
right.
it came about because folks didn't want to learn on a metal rope dart, and I was like, well, I'm going to teach the rope dart. That's like what I'm here to do on this life. I was sure. So it's just about finding a method to safely teach them, and I think we nailed it.
Awesome. Awesome, Frank. Something I love about your videos is you'll introduce something when you do it for your instructional videos. It's like, here is this movement. This is intermediate to advanced. And check out the video before this if you don't know it. But if not, just try it. Just play with it. And I love that because you give the the learner or the practitioner freedom to maybe try something that might be a little bit above their pay grade, but they might get something advanced, and then they can go back and be like, okay, I figured this out in the advanced movement, and I realized that advanced movement is actually made up of two or three pieces of the intermediate stuff that I couldn't get. Now that I've got this advanced movement, maybe I can go back and sharpen my teeth a little bit more on the
Well,
intermediate.
just to piggyback off of that a little bit, it's like the responsibility of a teacher or instructor is very fluid when it comes to teaching students. And here's what I mean. When I'm teaching somebody in real life, I'm not just throwing something at them and saying, "Hey, if you can get it, great. If you can't, try anyway, and it doesn't matter." That's not how I do it. The videos I do that, and I try to give enough information about the content so that
Sure.
the viewer can make the choice, make the decision whether it's for them or not. Because I don't know. It's could be
Mhm.
watched by everybody. It could be watched by nobody, and
Mhm.
everything in between. So it's all about for anybody making tutorials, it's about giving enough upfront information as possible, knowing where the technique lies in the grand scheme of beginner
Yeah.
to advanced,
Yeah.
whatnot. Um, and and allowing the viewer, the student, to make that decision whether it's for them. Now, I would not say that if you were teaching somebody in real life. Look at their skill level in real life,
Yeah.
and and then act accordingly.
Brilliant. Awesome. Beautiful. Well put. What would the first three things that a rookie student coming into Rope Dart Academy, what would you, could you take us through that?
Sure, absolutely. So the first things that I would teach any student would be an introduction to spins. Now, those spins would consist of, a familiar weave like you would do with a nunchuck or a chain whip or something
Hmm.
like, your basic figure eight flower, weave. Then, because that's really all rope dart. I mean, that's the secret of rope dart. If you can understand that, you got rope dart. Because then we would just take that basic weave and use our elbows, our thighs, and our neck to spin the dart, as opposed to, say, just stepping forward. But really, the first three things a student should learn are spins, shots, and wraps. And I would teach a new student exactly those three things in that exact order. For example, I mentioned the ICMAC tournament this weekend in Orlando, Florida. I am teaching 101, 102, and 103 spin, shots, and wraps. So that would be what you get from your first class with me.
That's amazing. It's funny that you talked about the elbows and the knees and everything like that. Cause different styles will use different terminology, but I look at like the six harmonies is a very popular, thing in Chinese martial arts, as well as the seven stars. And as I watch the rope dartists move, I'm like, the wrists are getting wrapped, the elbow can get wrapped, the shoulder can get wrapped, right? And so the hip can get wrapped, the knee can get wrapped, the ankles can unwrap or wrap too. And so I look at that and I think, I mentioned this before we started the show together, is that a lot of kung fu systems will live in a camp and they get tunnel vision and they can never get out of their camps, right? It's like, I do Wing Chun, but I do this lineage of Wing Chun, which is the best Wing Chun. And even though I have other people that are in the same lineage, my teacher's the only one that's getting it right. So you get these like little cult camp
Yeah.
followings and kind of get this madness. And there's not a lot of space, I feel, for personal expression and personal interpretation, as well as camaraderie. And I really think that even if you do a traditional style of Chinese martial arts, even if you kind of feel that way, it's like what I'm doing is best. The rope dart becomes a bridge to talk to people outside of your camp.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't really have I don't want to say this, but it does, but it doesn't. It's not confined to a lineage. It's not confined to a system.
Well,
it seems like it's available to everybody.
So it certainly is available to everybody, but it might have a lineage and it might have a. I mean, we don't really know. With my book Traditional Modern Rope Dart, I did, which was at the time my best at providing that type of information, the history, where things came from, what have you. But and again, I think something's going to come out, not me, and it's going to put a lot of things straight. I think the person that is doing this thing actually was, he helped me write in some ways. Not help me write. That's a bit much, but he helped with traditional modern rope dart. He's definitely in the bibliography, so he was a big asset, and he's a huge asset to the rope dart community. And all I want to do is say his name just to give him those chops, but I don't want to blow his spot up, as the kids say.
You don't want to steal his thunder because he's releasing something new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let him do that on his own time. So I talked about these, and maybe I'll have to get a rope dart someday too. But
wait, you don't have a rope dart?
No,
Wait,
not yet.
The heck? Okay, so we're sending you a rope dart. That would okay. No, what?
You don't have to do that.
Yeah,
So,
yes,
but
no. You're gonna talk about clubs in a second. Okay, no. Now the Italian Brooklyn guy's coming out. Do you like black, red, purple, teal, or like a sage green?
I love red because I'm Red
Done.
Force Chinese boxing. You're the
Perfect.
best, Frank. You're the best.
When we get done, please, if you wouldn't mind, just message me your shipping address, and we'll just get that out.
Well, maybe I'll have to do a video of a short, chubby little bus driver trying to do some rope darts. No, and that's not knocking on me. I do have magical skills, so if I pull something off, I'll give kudos to where it belongs, baby.
Well,
So
we could also send you our beginner online training course, so at least you'll have a reference point and something to look at, and to at least have the starting point that I was talking about, or we were talking about earlier. So
thank you, my friend. I
yeah,
super appreciate that.
yeah, just if you wouldn't mind sending along with the shipping address your email, Sarah will be able to do all that. I'm not a computer guy at all, but my wife will 100% do that for you, no problem.
Well, then I'll have to get yours back so I can send you a small little thank you in return. Yeah, I told.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
It's
You'll
almost
see.
like
Yeah,
it's okay.
it's mutual. So
Okay.
let's keep going. So I believe that's one thing that the world of Chinese martial arts needs is a place where everybody feels safe. It doesn't matter what style they come from. They can come and learn something and enjoy equally together without having to offend people over what system, style, or rank. I'm a rookie. That's a grandmaster. But everybody can have that beginner's joy and the beginner's mindset with the rope dart. I love that.
100%. And I think again, it comes.
All right, you locked up on me, Frank. Are you still there? This is what happens when we get live. We'll have some technical difficulties. So I'm still going. Let me see if I can get Frank back and going here. So there he is again. Got to get you back on here, Frank. I lost you, brother. When you do stuff in real life, well, it's just us right now. So we'll see if we can get Frank back. But yeah, we're talking to Frank Hatzis today about the rope dart. And I'm still trying to get Frank in here. We're gonna bring back our real background. Us. And hey, we're having a heat wave and his phone's shut down. He's getting on it now. Well, thank you, Lady Hatzis. You're having a heat wave over there, brother.
Aha.
There you are.
Oh, there it is. All right.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. I went to my traditional background, so yeah.
Okay.
Don't sweat. I already told the audience; they already know. So we're actually. It looks like we're starting over, so we can do a couple things.
Okay.
Just throw this at you. We can post what we had, and that's totally cool. And I thought that was pretty good. And then I could just post that, or you can cool the phone down, and we can go on Instagram later today too. So maybe we can do it at both. So whatever you want to do, Frank, we can do that. I got you back on now. I don't know if it's going to splice. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to splice. Did I lose you again? Yeah, I lost you again. Okay. So we're going to. There he is. There he is.
I'm holding the phone by the air conditioner right now.
That's great. That's great, man. It's you know what this feels like? This feels like old correspondence, like you're in a war zone. And
like that.
Yeah. And we're doing rope dart live next to the air conditioner.
Yeah, we certainly are right now. So
yeah, we can do anything you like, Frank. We can just keep going. I'm having a blast. We can pop on Instagram later. We can totally do that. Or we can do if you wanted to do a Zoom call and it would be backwards, you could We could do a Zoom call, you and I, and then you could send me the link, and I'll post it on Kung Fu Conversations.
I mean, I don't mind just staying on this one right now. I thought we had a pretty good flow.
I do too.
I just have to leave the bedroom because my son's trying to sleep right now and take a nap.
Oh, totally.
So I have to run out. Not run. I'm going to walk out and turn the. I'm going to just have to sit somewhere else and keep the phone near the other AC, and that's it. Because it came.
That's cool.
The temperature was like, it's too hot. You got to get out of here. So, all right, I'm going to go walk through my house. So I guess we're live on YouTube. Everybody's going to see my hallway, I guess.
Well, so the Hatz's family has a new baby, and so we will totally excuse you for lived in home. How's that going? Tell us about being first time papa.
It's awesome, and I'm having a great time right now with, I don't know, learning the ins and outs of fatherhood. It's only been 9 weeks, so it's not that long, but it's I don't know. It's been cool. Let me just come over here. This is my home world. I don't know.
Beautiful house. Beautiful house.
Yeah, I'm gonna just turn this air conditioner on and have to talk really loud and close. So
that's totally cool. That's totally how. Not to pick on you, brother, but how old are you as a first time father?
Oh, I am 45 years old.
We're the same age.
Okay.
We're the same age. Yeah. So yeah. I got a few more years before I throw in the towel.
Well, can I tell you, I'm so glad I waited. So because we're still on a podcast and it's live and all these things, and hopefully I can share some insights with folks that might be entrepreneurial. I'm glad I waited. I don't know that I would have been able to make a company selling something that nobody's ever heard of before if I was also a dad. It's a difficult thing to achieve in its own right. So to add a baby to it might be why some folks might quit sometimes. I don't know, but hopefully we continue serving the community the way the community deserves. We don't make any stupid mistakes, and we continue to grow the rope dart. That's the mission. So.
What? You've been at this for 20 years.
I have.
How do you feel like in the last 4 or 5 years that the company's really taken off? What do you think, Frank?
I would say since 2020. Since 2020, rope darts certainly got way more popular. And I guess when the world shuts down and you can't be near anybody and you have all the time in the world to learn something, maybe the rope dart was a smart investment. So we did see it there, but I think it was coming anyway. I don't want to say that the pandemic caused it because that erases a lot of groundwork and a lot of a skeleton and a framework that shouldn't be overlooked, if you follow me.
I totally do. Yeah, it's funny too though, because I'll tell you something kind of hilarious here. The first podcast that Owen and I ever covered was about long weapons. Because we would have like our 8-foot long poles, 9-foot long poles, and then you got two people, that's 16 feet apart if you're just kind of doing the spear, tip stuff. So we could keep the distance and be outside and not kind of worry about the COVID rules. And so I think that's the same thing with the rope dart. You can, find a big park, find your space, mark your zone, mark your territory out, and then get to darting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I rope dart in my living room, so I always do it wherever. Funny story, really. When I was first learning the rope dart, a lot of techniques I learned in my bedroom at my mom's house. I mean, it was just, sometimes I would be asleep, not asleep. I would be going to sleep, and I would just be thinking about something with the rope dart because you have to understand there was no information on it when I started. There was absolutely nothing like. Not absolutely nothing, but anything out there, it was difficult to find. Like, for instance, the book by Li Xingdong was written in 1996, so that certainly existed. But how easy is it to find a book on rope dart in 1996? There's an internet, but not really.
What it is today. Not what it is today. That's right.
Yeah. So I just kind of went off on a rant.
No. No. You were talking about rope dart, being outside, information, and we were.
Right. So I sometimes I'd be going to sleep and I was thinking about something. I would get up and I would try it in my bedroom just to see if it worked or not. And sometimes it did, and sometimes it didn't. So, you could rope dart anywhere. As a matter of fact, if you follow Rope Dart Academy on Instagram, we do 10-day challenges every now and again. And what a lot of folks don't know, here's a little secret about the Rope Dart Academy Instagram challenges. They're all based off of real life things that happen. So, for instance, we have one of the competitions sometimes, one of the challenges is small space rope dart. And I included that because of the bedroom I was in when I was learning rope dart back like 19, 20 years ago. So
That's amazing.
yeah, so it's like, there's just a lot of that and everything that comes with the rope dart. Like everything, if you come to Dart House, and you're always a welcome guest here, Randall.
Thank you.
You could point to anything, and I'll tell you a story on how it connects to a rope dart. I'm not even kidding. It's
That's
ridiculous.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that's been that part of your life. Did you meet your wife through rope darting?
I did. Ooh.
Tell it. Oh man, tell us about that. How about that?
Listen, if you want to hear a story of love and romance and two souls finding each other, sit down and grab a cup of coffee or something.
I love it.
Oh wow! So both Sarah and I at the time, obviously, we didn't know each other, but we were both in pretty not good relationships, and we were both living with that other person. And it just so happened that, I mean, I could tell my side of the story beforehand because I didn't know her. So one night, I'm feeling pretty low. Life isn't good. Whatever. Lots of things going on, especially this relationship I'm in. And there was a spinner-friendly dance party at a club called House of Guests, which is in Brooklyn, where we live, or even lived closer at the time. And I just told myself, I was like, you know what, man, go to this thing, go to this spinner friendly. For anybody who doesn't know, spinner friendly isn't like a weird sex thing. I don't even know if that's a sex word, but it's like spinning things like rope dart instead,
Sure.
like more prop manipulation, fire spinning stuff. So I told myself, I was like, you know what, dude, just go there tonight and rope dart your heart out. Just go just go. You can bring it back to the rope dart. You know that this is the answer. It always has been. Just go and rope dart your heart out. And I did. I did, Randall. I really did. I swear I did. And what I didn't know at the time was there was this little kitty sitting there from across the room that was totally enamored by this thing that looked like a cat toy. When I say kitty, I mean a human being. Of course.
I understand. Yeah, we got you. We're hip. We're hip. We're cool cats over here. You got it.
Cool. So enamored by this thing that looks like a giant cat toy and this guy that's jumping around looking like a martial artist. And she kind of was into that, look like a martial arts kind of guy. And, she was speaking to one of her friends and said, "What is that thing?" And her friend happened to know that it was a rope dart. They were hoopers. My wife was and still is really great at, the hula hoop, as it's traditionally known as or commonly known as. And, so she was actually on her way out. She was leaving and saw me rope darting and just quietly like took her jacket off and put it back, started watching me, having the conversation with her friend. I got tired. I went to go get a drink of water. So I went to the bar and I saw what I know now was a mutual friend of ours, Celia. So I said hi to Celia. And Sarah saw this and said, "Oh my God, he's talking to Celia. Now's my chance." So she came over and just started talking to me, and we kind of developed a friendship first for a long time. Because we were both still living with our kind of ex.
Yeah.
So we started with this really great friendship. Although I used to sneak Sarah onto the top of my building to teach her rope dart. That happened a few times, and it was just very romantic. And I don't know, people can hate on me for that because my ex was in the apartment at the time, but I don't care. It's fine. I am with who I'm supposed to be with.
Good on you. Good on you.
And I hope my ex found whoever she's supposed to be with. So anyway, we meet at this dance party. It was called No Parking on the Dance Floor at House of Yes. And then years later, we got married in House of Yes in the same room that we met each other, standing on the same spot we first spoke to each other when we were introduced. That's actually where we had our first kiss as wife and husband. Was on the exact
Amazing.
spot that we
Amazing.
first hugged each other when we met. Yeah. So real love exists. It's out there for everybody. You can you need to put yourself out there, and whatever it is you do. For me, it was rope dart, but whatever it is you do, go do that. Your heart out. Whatever. I don't care if it's playing basketball. Go play basketball. Your heart out. And when you put it out there and you lay it down like that, the universe does respond. And I can tell you a bazillion reasons why that's true, at least in my life.
That's amazing. That's amazing. How long have you guys been together now, Frank?
So, oh my God. The terrible question, because I have no
Yeah.
idea. Because every day is a wonderful day. If you told me we've been together for a week, I'd believe you. If you told me we've been together for 100 years, I would absolutely believe you. I have no freaking clue. Time stopped and has not started up again since I met Sarah. I don't know. 9 years? 8 years? I have
Okay.
no idea. I swear
Cool.
to God.
Somewhere in that range. Somewhere in that range.
Somewhere
That
in there. Yeah.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So what are the next steps for the Rope Dart Academy? What are you guys working on? Besides just getting rope darts out there? Any new books down the road? Have you actually? Here's a question: have you found a historical book on rope darting at all?
So the oldest that I've seen is that 1996 book, Rope Dart. Now there's also it's either Inside Kung Fu or Kung Fu Tai Chi magazine, and heaven help me for mixing those two up as we all do in the Kung Fu world. But there's also mention of Willie Lin did an article, and I think that was in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And there, look, somebody somewhere in all the history of the rope dart in China must have written something down.
You would think so. You would think so.
There's got to be something. Well, you have the Wu Bai Zi, and that's the military manual.
Sure.
So they do have the meteor hammer in there. It's
okay.
Yeah. So a very interesting point, and it's not in my book, Traditional Modern Rope Dart, because I found this information out afterwards. So but where it's listed in this Chinese military manual, it's old Chinese writing, I believe, and it translates to it doesn't say meteor hammer, it says multi-purpose, or it says meteor hammer multi-purpose, meaning that this is a weapon, but it is a multi-purpose tool that can be kind of used for anytime you need a weight and a rope or a pulley or anything. So,
oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it really does.
Functional.
It's absolutely a functional because you're thinking about the military. They looked at it. They said, "Great, it's a weapon. What else is this thing? How many different weapons out there are? It's right. This is a weapon. It also can chop a tree down. It's whatever." So
that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. So, do you have clubs across the U.S. that people could join? Have you guys done anything like that, or is it more just independent instructors kind of doing their own thing?
Well, it's both of those, meaning that it's independent instructors doing their thing, and there's also Rope Dart Academy instructors that teach Rope Dart Academy curriculum, which we said earlier before the glitch, before my phone got too hot.
That's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. It's really a good curriculum, and you get results with it. So listen, when it comes to our curriculum, it's twofold. Number one, the students are getting a great feeling in learning, and the second part is you as the instructor are going to feel great, because most rope dart instructors aren't very good in the beginning. That includes me. And the reason I say that our curriculum is well thought out now is because I went through the trouble and the process of doing all the wrong things, and I learned what did not work.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, over the years, it was way more things that weren't working, and then a sprinkle of this thing that worked. And I just collected the sprinkles and I put them in order. It works. So yes, if you are looking for professional level rope dart instruction, go to a Rope Dart Academy instructor. You can email us. If they're not everywhere. We'd love them everywhere, but whoops, they may be in your area. So just hit us up at info@ropedarts.com. And we do have our online training courses. We've gotten wonderful feedback from everyone that's ever purchased. They are, I think very reasonably priced. There's other stuff out there that's way more, and ours is pretty excellent. Again, I'm trying to say that without sounding like a jerk, but I didn't just wake up today and say, hey, I'm going to teach rope dart. I got this curriculum. I'm saying this came up through 20 years of running around the world and mostly doing it, not mostly, I'm doing it right for a while now, but in the beginning doing it wrong. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I mentioned, I was talking about how it can help the Chinese kung fu communities maybe get together and heal some wounds and cross some bridges. But before I get it to, I have this written down. I want to make sure that I say it right. I look at the rope dart and I think it checks off so many boxes. It's a form of dance. It's a form of martial performance. It's a form of personal expression. And I think too, somebody that's going through a rough time, I think a lot of people are hip these days to, having therapy. And a lot of therapists these days are prescribing a kind of movement. It could be dance, it could be yoga. And maybe the rope dart as a personal expression tool, like a personal exploration, like how to explore the depths of the self. Do you think that's a thing that the rope dart can do?
100%, absolutely. So my thing with a rope dart is I liken it very much, and I know it's going to sound weird, and that's fine. I don't care. It's very much like a skateboard, and when you look at it's a trick-based thing. It's exercise. You need some form of physical, not athleticism, but I mean, both are athletic things. Um, you know, it's movement. You burn calories. You get a good sweat. There's communities. There's competitions. There's all these things. I think rope dart um, will be as big as the skateboard one day. I mean, that's kind of my vision. That's where I'm going with it. It should be as popular as skateboarding. I used to skate. I think skateboarding is awesome. It was one of my favorite things to do for a very long time. And rope dart is a good, when you kind of get into later in life and you still, like that edgy kind of movement art. I think rope darts. I think it's a home run every time, man. I really do.
Yeah, I like that. I like that if it's something that and of course you could start it later in life too, but it really looks like a tool that if you started it as a young person, and then it could keep your mobility up as you progressively age. You might not be able to do the cartwheels and the backflips, but you might be able to still do some of the tricks and understand symmetry, like a body symmetry, a body coordination and balance with an external object. And that also helps drive your internal symmetry and balance as well.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I'm not doing any cartwheels or backflips anytime soon. So, I just, at least when it comes to my personal rope dart, um, I'm really much of a collector. I like learning new techniques. I like seeing as far as listen, like because here's the crazy thing that everybody knows but they don't get. We're talking about its weight on the end of a rope. That's it. And when you think about how much stuff you can do with weight at the end of a rope, it's kind of ridiculous. And that it's, you know, performance based and partner based and all of
Yeah.
these different things. And it's entertainment. And we're seeing it more in movies. Although, listen, if we could talk a little bit about rope dart in movies,
Sure.
because like everything rope dart, I have an opinion on this. Who would have thought, right? So movies I love with the rope dart: Shanghai Noon, Kill
Mhm.
Bill, um, Shaolin Temple. That's an old one, but all these movies that present the rope dart in a realistic way that it can be used. Because there's movies out there like Shang-Chi, which I absolutely love the movie Shang-Chi. I'm a huge Marvel fan, but they depicted the rope dart as this kind of mythological thing that doesn't
Mhm.
really exist, and it's so what that does is it makes somebody be like, oh, that's cool, and they're never gonna think that it's actually something they can do. But when you watch a movie like Shanghai Noon with Jackie Chan,
you watch it, and not only do you think that's cool, but you think, wow, me too, I could do that. I could learn how to do that. I mean, who can rope dart like Jackie Chan? Answer: nobody. But we could all try to get as close as we can. So that's I think that movies need to go in the direction of, if you're gonna have the rope dart, look, there's a lot of great rope dartists out there. Find a very skilled rope dartist and pay them a good amount of money to put some great rope dart action that's real in your film. You'll get, I mean, at least the rope dart community. Look, I'm telling you, look, if you're a big movie producer, the rope dart community doesn't like the fake rope dart stuff. We don't like it. Boom, get it out. Put real rope dart in. Find real rope dartists. Let's go.
Not everything in life has to be CGI.
No, come on, man. Like, give me just, it's so much more appreciated when you could look at something and be like, wow, a human is doing that. That's amazing. Humans are amazing. If you're watching, you're an amazing person. You're a human being. You're amazing. You do amazing things. Go do it.
Amen.
Yeah,
amen.
Rope dart. You're an amazing dartist. Go, run.
Frank, it's been an hour. Thank you for being. Yeah. How about that? Yeah. Because the first, it was like 35, 40 minutes on the first one. We'll see. Hopefully, it'll either merge together or I'll drop it in 2 sections. But yeah, I'm going to get you posted on Instagram when it drops tomorrow. And if something else goofy comes up, maybe we'll just do it on Instagram if it doesn't quite come through. But I want to talk to you more down the road. Again, I love what you're doing. I think the Rope Dart Academy is special. I think you're special for doing this for 20 years. That's amazing. And still going.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm warming up, man. We got a lot of look. My mission is to spread the rope dart across the globe. That is like putting out videos, people see it, blah, blah, blah. That's not how it gets spread. You have to go out there, you need to put it in people's hands, and you have to teach them. That is going to take a long time. So we're nowhere near finishing that. It is a life goal, and it will take multiple lifetimes to achieve, and I will 100% do it until the end. So
that's amazing. Well, we'll do everything I can over here at Kung Fu Conversations to help spread the word.
Oh, yeah. You know what? And before we go, let me just say, so for everybody, thank you, Randall Davis and Kung Fu Conversations, for all the love and support you show Rope Dart Academy, myself, my wife, my now son. I mean, like, it's, it is our full-time gig, business. It is what we do. And when we see that we're having a great and positive impact, and great and positive folks like you are sharing it because you like what you see, I mean, it hits us right in the heart. We absolutely love it. And, we do appreciate you and everything you do. And we appreciate your voice very much.
Rock and roll, brother. Anytime. We'll get you out there. Listen, have a blessed day. We'll talk soon in the future. It could be tomorrow. And if not, great. I'll talk to you soon, my friend. Have a blessed one. Take care, Frank.
Peace.
And there we go.